Isn't worried about when Trey Lance makes his starting debut. York told reporters that if Jimmy Garoppolo ends up starting 2 more seasons with MVP caliber play, then it would be a good dilemma to be in with Lance sitting on the bench, waiting to get his chance. So, Shannon, would you sit Trey Lance next season?
I wouldn't go into the season with that plan. Now, Skip, Trey Lance's his ability to pick up a playbook, how well they see him play in practice and training camp and in the preseason will determine and how poorly Jimmy G plays. If Jimmy G played like he played the last couple of years, get up to that start, oh, he gonna get up out of there early. The one thing, and the thing is that what we know, Skip, the best chance for you to win a Super Bowl is what? On a quarterback's rookie contract, because you can put all those auxiliary pieces around it. Now, we see by the time Trey Lance becomes eligible, if he's what they think he is, Skip, they're going to have to be paying quarterbacks $50 million a year because it's already 45, Patrick Mahomes, so he got 5 years. So in 5 years, Skip, it's going to be $55 million. The best way to build a championship caliber team is to have your quarterback on a rookie deal. You can put pieces around him. So Kyle Shanahan, if Kyle Shanahan is anything like his father, he's not going into the season saying, well, I want Jimmy G to start. That's going to be contingent on how soon Trey Lance is up to speed and how well Jimmy G plays. The one thing, and you people partner like Alex Smith and Patrick Mahomes, I know Andy Reid. I know Red. Red is a performance guy. Alex Smith didn't give him a reason to insert Patrick Mahomes. But in '99, when they took Donovan McNabb second, Doug Peterson started about 8 or 9 games, and then it wasn't going well, and they put Donovan McNabb butt in there. So I believe that's the way it's going to play out. They're saying, we're going to see how fast this kid, how soon we can fast-track him, Skip. And if he picks up the system really well, Jimmy G is playing bad. Oh, Jimmy G up out of there. It's as simple as that. Jed York, you don't trade up. You don't trade your future. It says, well, we only want to have 2 or 3 years to look at the guy to make sure we got the right guy. Kyle Shanahan's going to want to get him in there sooner than later, and that's going to be on Jimmy G. Jimmy G can make this a year thing. He can, but I don't believe he can make it a 2-year thing.
Okay. So I don't know Jed York, but I knew his father, or know his father, John, very well when he was running the operation.
Correct.
And I like them both. Don't know the son, but of what I know of him, and he's sharp, saying all the right things. And what he said was the correct thing to say at this moment in time, because as we speak, Trey is still 20 years of age. He turns 21 this Sunday. Happy early birthday to Trey. So he said, hey, if Jimmy gets us to another Super Bowl, wouldn't that be a great dilemma to have? Sure. That's a nice way to put it. But you just traded your next 2 first-round picks. Your next 2 years are gone because you said we're going to 3, not to 2. We're going up to 3 because we believe there's going to be a quarterback there who can take us back to the promised land and win that game, win the Super Bowl in ways that Jimmy G in the 4th quarter, when he was 4 of 11 for 36 yards with an interception and missed Emmanuel Sanders near the goal line late in the game, he couldn't pull it off. And they made a gut-level choice. And it was, boy, it was a cutthroat choice, but they just said, we can't go win the biggest game with Jimmy G as our quarterback. In part because he hasn't stayed healthy. I know that's
injury history and turnover history.
Turnover history. Okay. So once you commit that much to this young man, still a very young man. Yet you're Kyle Shanahan, you're Mike Shanahan, you played for the father, you know the son. And you told me leading up to the draft 10 different times that they're willing, if the Jets take Trey Lance, they'll take whoever they don't take, and they'll be successful with whomever it is, right? And I have nothing but the highest regard for what those two can do with a young quarterback. What did they do with Robert Griffin III after they were forced to take him by the owner when they wanted to go Kirk Cousins? They had Kirk Cousins. They were able to get him in the 4th round. But what did they do with Robert that first year?
They won the division, and he was Rookie of the Year.
He was the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
He was Offensive Player of the Week in his first game as a start against New Orleans. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
Do you give Kyle and Mike some credit for that? Sure you do.
Because they installed an offense, Skip, that's not what they run. They went down to Baylor, talked to Art Browse, got the system.
They did.
Yes.
And I think they're great at that offense.
Yeah.
When they put their mind to it,
Yes.
they put Robert in so many great positions to be successful, and Robert just couldn't get it through his head. The game is rigged to protect you. All you do is just give yourself up.
Just give yourself up.
You just put 2 feet out in front of you, and you go down in what's called a slide.
Yep.
It's not, he's a tremendous athlete. He's a world-class athlete, has world-class speed.
Yep.
Just slide, and they can't hit you.
Can't touch you.
And he couldn't get that through his head at that point, and he paid the ultimate price for that, right?
Yeah.
It wrecked his career, and he was never quite the same.
Never the same.
Okay. I believe that Trey Lance can start game number 1. I think he's the most mature. I don't care about his age, his chronological age. I care about everything that I've heard and read about him is he is extremely mature and extremely obsessively dedicated at 20 years of age. That he is the gym rat. He is the film junkie. He has probably already broken down every tape he can break down about what the 49ers do on offense. And he's already had hours and hours with the Shannahans trying to figure it all out and process it in his head. And the North Dakota State coaches raved about his command of their offense. They gave him the whole show. You can set your own protections. You can call your audibles, your hot routes, your option routes. You call it all. And he did. And I know it's a small body of work, but it was 16-0 with 28 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
But, Skip, you do realize Jimmy G has a decided advantage being in this offense for so long. And I've seen it happen before. I've seen we take receivers or we take a guy at a high draft pick and a guy that doesn't have nearly the talent, but because he's been in the system.
I got it.
He's so far ahead. And so I believe Jimmy G is going in with so far ahead of Trey. But will tell you this. If this kid picks this system up, and Kyle says, you know what? Kyle won't be afraid of starting him, Skip. That will not happen.
I think he would wear that like a badge of honor.
He will not be afraid to start this kid. But I just think Jimmy G is going to be so far ahead, and this kid has going to have so much ground to make up. I just don't know if he can make it up and beat Jimmy G out for the starting job. But I tell you what, Jimmy G turned the ball over a couple of times because we know he ain't the guy that turns it over once, Skip. He turns it over in bunches. 1, 2, 3 in a game.
Okay, remember, the offense Trey will wind up running will be a little different than the one they've catered or tailored for Jimmy G. There's going to be more read option. There's going to be more quarterback runs. There's going to be more quarterback misdirection with the running back misdirection. And it's going to be a cavalcade of runs. Because Trey Lance can flat out run with the football. He runs naturally. He runs easily. He's 4'5". He's 224 pounds. 6'4".
In the running game, they're going to rely heavily on the running game. They took Trey Sermon. They got Mostert. If they can just keep the running backs healthy, that's what this offense is really contingent on. Skip. People don't understand anything. Well, you just throw. No, everything is set up off the run.
Obviously, if this kid can just soak it all in quickly, the offense will be harder to stop with him at quarterback if he's playing at a high level. Much harder than with Jimmy G at quarterback.
Because you can do more things with him.
You can just do more things. I think he's capable. I believe they will start him in week 1. And I believe that Trey Lance will be the offensive rookie of the year just the way RG3 was. Because if he starts from the start in that offense with that coach calling his plays for him, you know and I know he's going to have a leg up on the field if he's ready for it. And it is a huge leap from North Dakota State to
the NFL in that play.
The AFC, I mean the NFC West. You know, it's hard, man.
I mean, people and Skip, when they say quarterback is the hardest position, it really is because you don't really understand what's on the quarterback's plate. I understand. I'm looking at John Elway writing notes, and I'm looking at the plate, what he's got to go through. He has to know all the protections. Well, I don't want that protection. I want you to go here. I want to be protected against him. And got to know, okay, well, Shannon got this, but Ed is my hot route. Rod is running this, and I got TD on the flare. All that. Wow, hold on, nah, that ain't a defense. That ain't cover 2. They coming with the 5 blitz. All that on your plate, and you got to die just like that. So if he's up to speed, I know Kyle Shanahan because I know his dad. If he's up to speed, he's gonna play.
He's gonna play.
But they're not gonna force it. That's the one thing, they're not gonna force it.
Even camp practices are more and more restricted by the CBA. So there are only so many footballs to go around in a camp practice. So many reps. you better be careful, because how are you going to split their reps in practice?
And I think
you're going to go heavy for Trey?
No, Skip, it's not like you're in pads, everything. It's like one thing is a meeting, and then this little bit, you can do this much in pads, and you got to do, it's a totally different situation now. But I think the thing that's going to help is that they got preseason games. Remember last year, Skip, they had no games. So basically, you just like, I think he's ready, put him in the ball game.
I believe so strongly in Trey Lance that I hope they see their way clear to go ahead and trade Jimmy G during camp. Maybe as somebody needs a quarterback. Maybe they could get a 2-back for him. Maybe they could get out from under that salary. And to your point, if they can get a leg up with Trey this year on a rookie contract, you got dynastic potential. If he's that guy, and I believe he's that guy.
Yep.
Wow. Sometimes I think the craziest part about all this, he is 20 years old. You mentioned his birthday around